This is a short video about my Heretic knives, Manticore S. This is a small size Heretic knives Manticore. Now for comparison, I have UTX 85, which is, most of you all probably know, is 85% the size of a Microtech Ultratech. As you can see, it's a Microtech there. And so this is a knife that has a blade just a smidge over 3 inches and has a cutting edge of about 2 3/4 inches, about 2.75 inches. Now the Manticore S has a smaller blade cutting edge of 2.56 inches and overall length of 2.59 inches, and has a overall length of 6.56 inches. Now this one came in breakthrough red, and actually I like the box that it comes in. This is the Heretic Knives box. This is the Heretic Knives box here, and you can see that's the name on the box there. And then they have the Made in the USA sticker on the back. But it's a nice box, and in particular, I really like the bag it comes with. Now the bag is huge, but still it's nice to have a bag for your knife. It's all because these are most of us use these knives, but very few people are using out the front knives for really heavy duty stuff. I mean, they're just not made for it. But the bag is a big bag, and I'm pretty sure Heretic Knives, they're not a big company. This is the same bag they're using for their full-size knives. And another thing that, actually, I bought this knife at GP Knives over in Troy, Illinois, which is where I buy most of my stuff. But a clerk at the store made an observation about the knife. It's that it really has a big clip. And so I'm guessing that they're using the same clip on this small knife that they use on their larger knives, which are about 9 inches long, opened up for the much larger knives. But the finish on the knife is quite good. It has a little bit of wiggle that you have in any production out the front knife. Whether it's a more expensive knife like this, which is about $262 or so, or $260 cash. I mean $260, which is a little bit more than the UTX. I think the UTX is in the 230s, I think. But still, Heretic is a good company. I mean, one thing that's nice about it is that, unlike a lot of auto companies, everything is not 154 cm. This is S35 VN, which, is a higher performing steel. Of course, 154 cm is a perfectly good steel. I'm not making fun of 154 cm. I have a fair amount of 154 cm knives. But S35 is better quality. Now, this is a recurve, of course, which, gives it a little bit extra cutting edge. And, it's kind of a swirly looking little knife here. The edge is pretty thin. Now, I don't have calipers, but as you can see, that's a very thin cutting edge. It's definitely not a thick ground blade. I mean, you could definitely peel your apple or, do, a cutting test. The only thing about, it's an out the front, so, if you do peel an apple or anything like that, you better wipe the knife clean, because you get gunk in it and it's not going to work so well. Now, Heretic also impressed me for a couple of things. Now, first of all, if you look at it, now, as you can see, one side is clean. You don't see any bolts or anything fastening it, screws fastening. Now, the thing I'm looking at here is that I'm pretty sure these are T6s. As you can look on the knife, these are T6 screws, I'm pretty sure. I'm not feeling like getting them out right now, so I'm not gonna get them out. I believe these are T6. Are these T's? I don't have my Torx heads with me right now, but I'm pretty sure these are Torx heads. And so, of course, that's better than Microtech, which, of course, has these custom screws, which, are very much designed to make folks, not open up the knife. It's something that, clearly they don't want you to open it up. Now, I doubt if Heretic wants you opening it up either, but if you do have to open it up, it's going to be easier to get into and do what you need to do. Now, the action on the knife is smooth. The button if you look at the design of the button, it's very similar to the Microtech design, and I guess that shouldn't be a big surprise. I understand there's a family connection between Heretic and Microtech. I believe the person running Microtech is the son of the owner of the founder of Microtech, and so I guess the design similarities should not be a surprise. But there are some things that are different. I mean, like for instance, you have the glass breaker here, but on this knife, let me get it in focus. But it's a much smaller glass breaker, and it looks a lot more like an actual glass breaker as opposed to the glass breaker that you get on the UTX 85 and a lot of other Microtechs that looks like a glass breaker / hurt somebody defensive tool. And so and also, as you can see too, now on the Microtech, the lanyard is part of the clip, and on Heretic, the lanyard hole is integral, and it's well designed. You have the little clip here that has a scoop out for it, and so I think that's a nice design. And here it is in my hand. I have a fairly big hand. I don't have a huge hands, but they're a little bit above average. And so you can see the knife in my hand. Now, for comparison, the UTX 85, which is not a huge knife either, you can see it's a bit bigger. And once again, you put them side by side, and you see the UTX 85 is a good bit big. UTX is about like 7 1/4, 7.5 inches open. The Heretic Manticore S is a little bit over 6.5 inches, so it's almost an inch smaller overall. Now, the bottom line is that I believe this is a pretty nice knife. I mean, I'm always leery of saying out the front, or saying it out the front as a gent's knife, because they definitely, if you're not around people who are used to knives, and out the front, even a small one like this is going to have an intimidating quality, because it's an automatic knife that just pops out like that. So even though this is a smaller knife, there are going to be people who find it intimidating. But still, given that it's a very small knife, I mean, according to the information I got out of the Grand Prairie knives, it's 1.6 ounces. So just a smidge over 1.5 ounces. So we're talking a very, very lightweight knife, a very compact knife, a very thin knife. This is definitely a knife that you could wear with slacks or wear with a suit. You wouldn't have any big bulges. You wouldn't be getting in the way, or looking awkward or anything. So from that standpoint, it could be a gent's knife. And then also, the one thing about it, I mean, it's a double action out the front, obviously, but you don't have to go around popping it open in front of people. You can be discreet with when you open it and use it and put it away. And so therefore, a gent's knife, just because it's a gent's knife, doesn't mean you have to be open it up in front of people, because even a Swiss Army knife, there are some people who just simply are uncomfortable with knives, and if you make a show of opening any knife up around some people, they're going to be uncomfortable. And so that's my philosophy. I just as I said before, a knife is kind of like, it's all, I treat a knife almost like it's part of like it's one of my privates. I mean, I wouldn't just simply show my body to folks, or something like that. And I kind of feel the same way about a knife. I mean, everybody doesn't need to see it. I mean, if you need to use it, take it out and use it. But I don't. But people take opening up knives, they see it as brandishing, and so therefore that's just not something I would do. I mean, I'd say I'd use it, I'd open up and show it, I'd open up and use it as needed, but I wouldn't do it needlessly. If I didn't need to show it to anybody, I wouldn't open it up. And so as far as the use of the Manticore S, that's what I intend to do. I mean, it's a nice EDC size knife, and since I live in an area where I can carry autos, I will. But now the thing about, of course, in Illinois is that the law can change from town to town. So therefore, it's not something I could just always travel with. And so therefore, I always have to be mindful of that. But in local travel in places where I know it's legal, and also places where I'm known, I wouldn't be a stranger or anything. I wouldn't mind carrying it around and using it. But if I have to travel more than that, there's stuff that I can carry that's less legally controversial. I mean, like a Swiss Army knife, or even something like, say, for instance, a Spyderco, a ladybug. Like this one, for instance, here, is in HAP 40. This is a really, really sharp small knife. It's a keychain knife that can be carried, and it's under 2 inches. And so therefore, even in a place like Chicago, which has pretty stringent knife laws and also is not auto friendly, this is something I could carry and use as needed. And so therefore, obviously, in certain environments, you just simply don't carry an auto. But the Manticore S, I think, is a really nice knife. And if you don't mind spending the money you need to spend for a nicer double action auto, I think it's a good investment. And I'm impressed with it so far. I mean, I've only had it for a little while, but I don't see this being a heavy use knife. And as a light duty knife, kind of a gent's knife, a box opener, maybe peeling a fruit, or cutting tape or whatever, I think it's nice to have, nice knife to have, if you're somebody who appreciates finer cutlery. Well, anyway, that's my kind of basic review of the Heretic Manticore S. Like I said, I would definitely recommend it to somebody.